Hi, you're with Chandeep at Goodly once again, and in this video, I'm going to talk about that how do you explore your DAX calculations and take a look at what's going on under the hood and take a look at the data and the actual tables and the values that are feeding in to your DAX calculations by using a function called ConcatenateX. This is going to be interesting. Let's start. All right, I'm in Power BI and let me just take 2 minutes to explain the data model and a few visuals that I have created. So take a look here in the data modeling tab. We have the sales table, transactional sales data, which is where one of the column is product ID, which has been linked to the product master or the product lookup table. We also have a date table, pretty standard, and that has been linked with the dates of the sales. Now, if I just go back and take a look at the visual, in the visual, I've made a very simple pivot table. In the pivot table, I have the year taken from the calendar table. I have the name of the product and the total sales displayed against that. Now, maybe what I'm trying to do here is that I'm trying to rank all the products in the order of total sales. And against every single product, I'd like to find out, hey, which rank are you in terms of total sales? Now, everybody knows how to find a rank, and the measure or the function that we're going to use is a ranking function to be able to find the rank of the products. So I'm just going to come to my sales table, make a new measure, and let's just start writing that measure. I'm going to call this as product rank. And let's just write a very simple rank X function. In the rank X function, the first part is the table. That means in which table are you trying to perform that ranking? I'm trying to perform that ranking in the products table. And the expression or the calculation or the basis of the rank is nothing but the total sales, which is what I have already created. So I'm just going to say use the total sales to give the ranks. The value is nothing. The order is descending. That means the largest sales is going to be rank 1. And then the ties are dense. Close that, commit to that formula, press enter. Now, if I actually drag this particular formula to my pivot table, I'm expecting to see the rank against every single product displayed as to what rank is that. Let's just try to do that and let's just see what do we get as an output. So I drag that to my pivot table. And to my surprise, the value that I get against every single product is 1. Now, why do we get 1 against every single product? Let's just try to understand that. Now, the first filter here is the year filter. That means I'm only taking a look at 2011 data. Good. Then the next filter is the product name filter, maybe a smoother that we're taking a look at as of now here. Now, once we apply these two filters and we take a look at that particular sales value, the ranking also considers these two filters. That means, hey, apply the filter for year, apply the filter for product, and take a look at this particular sales value. If this sales value is compared to its own sales value, that means you have only one sales value to compare against all the other products, it's going to be ranked as obviously the first product because there are no other products to compare to rank against one another. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lift off the filter or cancel or ignore the filter of the product. I'm going to say, hey, take a look at the entire year, but do not take a look at one product, compare all the products of that year, and then find out who's rank 1, who's rank 2, so on and so forth. I'm sure you already understand that. So what I'm going to do is instead of writing the products table, which actually filters to one particular product in that particular context, what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to write the all function, which allows me to ignore the filter of the product name. So I'm just going to say, hey, go to the products table. There is a product name. Ignore that filter if that filter is coming in. That means do not take that filter into consideration. Take a look at all the products there are, find total sales for that, and then rank them in the order. Right. Commit to the formula, press enter. And once I kind of commit to this formula, you can see that the ranks have started to change and I get to see the exact value of the rank. Now, this is something that you might already know about. And the explanation might also have made sense to you. But in case you're the curious types, you would not really get to know that what exactly changed once you take a look at the all function. That means what was the data that fed in into that particular measure to be able to give you that 7th or the 8th or the 1st or the 2nd rank. Now what we're going to do is we're going to write a function called ConcatenateX to be able to explore what exactly is the data that is actually going to feed inside of this particular calculation and visually show you that what is the data that is actually feeding in and eventually how is the rank calculated. Let's just start by creating one more measure. All right, before creating the measure, the first thing that I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to copy this very DAX formula that we have used and try to explore and break this formula using ConcatenateX to take a look at what's going on under the hood. So I'm just actually going to copy rows number 2 through 7, Control C, and then create a new measure. And the new measure that I'm going to create, I'm going to call this as maybe explore product rank. And I'm just going to paste that very calculation that I just copied from there. Now, I do understand that this particular calculation gives me the correct rank, but I do not know what is the data that is actually feeding in this particular calculation to drive that answer as 9 or 2 or that whatever that might be. I'm going to first of all change the rank X to something called as ConcatenateX. What the ConcatenateX function is going to be able to do is it's going to be able to concatenate the values, whether they are numbers or they are text. It'll just concatenate the values and show you exactly what values are there in the table that you're actually trying to use. So I'm going to say that, hey, first time, but then we wrote the formula, we actually did not write the all function. So I'm just going to deliberately make that mistake to show you what actually goes on under the hood. So I'm just going to cancel the all, just use the products table like we used it earlier. And I'm going to say, hey, if I were to go in every single row of the products table, take a look at the total sales, what is it that I actually get on which the rank was initially performed? I'm going to close that bracket right here, commit to the formula, press enter, and drag that calculation to my pivot table right here. And let's just see what we get. Now, against every single product, you are getting the very sales of that product that the product is having. That means that if 2025 is going to be compared against 2025, obviously it's going to be ranked as 1, whatever that sale might be. And that is the reason why you are getting as rank 1. Now let's just go change that formula and let's just try not to write the products, but just try to write the all function. And we'll take a look at what difference did it actually make to the actual data against which the rank was calculated. So I'm just going to write the all function. In the all function, I'm just going to say that, hey, remove the filter or ignore the filter from the products column, close that bracket, commit to the formula. Now, because you have the all function, you can see that it's actually kind of clubbing all the values together. So what I can say is that, hey, ConcatenateX, go in this particular table without any filters on the products, do find the total sales, and just the delimiter, just to separate out the sales so that if you can see it, is going to be, let's say, a comma. All right, so 3 parts: table, expression, and the delimiter, since we are concatenating. All right, now take a look at the results that we can see here. Because we wrote the all function ignored the filter of this particular product and considered the entire sales of all the products that are there in that particular year. And you can see that all the products are mentioned right here. But maybe you don't really want to see it this way. You just want to see it in rows. What we can do is we can change the delimiter, which is currently a comma, and we can say that the delimiter is not going to be a comma. It's going to be like an enter. For that, I'm just going to use the unicharacter. And 10 actually means enter. So I'm just going to commit to that formula, press enter, and I now get to see all the products and the sales of all the products. This is good. What I'd like to do further is that if I were to actually calculate the rank against every single sales value, where do I actually get to see third rank that I get to see this as an output, right? So I can just go ahead and take a look at my formula further and maybe just go ahead and write something like this. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come here and I'm going to say that, hey, ConcatenateX, good enough, you're trying to combine the total sales of all the products. But along with the sales of all the products, I also want you to combine the actual ranking of all the products. So this particular rank, but not for the individual product that I can see, but for all the products there are. So I'm just going to maybe do a concatenate symbol, add a little pipe symbol, because the rank is then going to be concatenated together. Let's just write an and here. And then I'm going to say, hey, I want to write something like in rank X. And obviously the table is not going to be the products table. It's going to be all the products table and the product column, because we want to ignore the filter. And then I'm going to say, hey, the value is nothing actually. The expression is total sales. The value is nothing. The order is descending order. And the ties are dense, right? And that completes my formula. Now I'm saying that this is a table which contains all the products. Against every single product, why don't you find out the total sales? And once you find out the total sales, also concatenate the rank of that using the rank X function. Now, not only will I see the sale value, but I will also see like a rank concatenated, which is the rank of that particular product. Now, this was the actual table that was feeding inside of the rank X function, and depending on that, the rank X function was actually trying to perform the output. Take a look at this particular value, 2131.5. If I actually take a look right here, 2131.5, it's got rank number 3, and that is the rank that you actually get to see here. So you can actually use the ConcatenateX function creatively, and because ConcatenateX function actually delivers you a text output, it can concatenate a number, an actual text value, and you can actually take a look at what's exactly going on under the hood and what is the data that is actually feeding into my measure or my DAX calculation, so that you can actually debug your calculations effectively. All right, that was all about creatively using ConcatenateX function to explore what the DAX calculation is actually returning you and what the data is being fed into the DAX calculation. I've created another video on top product analysis, which is where I have used ConcatenateX. If you want to take a look, I'm just going to leave a link to that particular series of videos, and you can actually take a look at the use of ConcatenateX in that particular context as well. If you have any questions around this, please feel free to drop in a comment and I'll be glad to reply. And a quick shout out about my DAX and my Power Query course in case you're starting out with Power BI and you need help trying to understand the fundamentals first of DAX or with Power Query and then proceed on to solving more complicated, more challenging problems of your own data. I will highly recommend that you take a look at my course. It's going to be highly beneficial. Thanks so much for watching this, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers. Bye.